So check this out. This is what Steve Kerr said when we asked him, like, what turned this around? You looked one way, now you look another way. Why?
Just the overall growth of the team. You know, guys like Jonathan, Brandon, Trace, young guys, Moses, these guys, young guys who have progressed and become really important players for us in terms of winning and losing. That's been huge. And then I just think the vets have helped foster that environment. They've mentored these young guys really well. Having Chris Paul, to me, is such a huge advantage for our group. The non-Steph minutes, I've never been more comfortable with him than I am this year because of Chris. So, getting him back from injury, but also having him mentoring the younger group. It's a really, really good group of guys and a well-balanced roster. So we're healthy, and knock on wood, hopefully we'll stay that way.
Well, it's such an interesting answer because I think it goes to the heart of there's just what has been a forever debate the last few years of Warrior basketball. When you see young guys develop, do you think to yourself, Steve, you should have gone to them early? Or do you think to yourself, no, they're playing now because they're ready to play? There's no way to answer it. When they're on the bench, they're on the bench. We don't know. But it sort of defines which kind of a Warrior fan you are in terms of you see Jonathan Kuminga play well, and you either go, see, he would have played that well if you had gone to him in November. Or you think to yourself, hey, Jonathan's clicking now. And so now he's ready to go, so that's why they're playing him.
Yeah, I tend to lean toward the head coach who's been here, and during that time they've won 4 championships, and they've been to 2 other NBA finals. He's been to 6 finals in his, 10 years at the helm of the Golden State Warriors. So when you have a question like this that is virtually unanswerable,
right,
you can have your opinion, but no one will ever know. If he would have played Jonathan Kuminga from day one and given him 30 minutes a night, would Kuminga be better? Would the team be better? That is an answer that you can't possibly know because it didn't actually happen. So I look at the way Kuminga has developed, and I give the credit mostly to Jonathan Kuminga, but I also give the coaching staff credit as well. And the TJD one's even more interesting because some people are now saying, oh, he should have been playing from the get-go. Well, I don't know if he should have been playing from the get-go, and I will default to the head coach who's with him every single day and has seen his own development from TJD. And now you got to a point where when you started playing him regularly, he took off. Would he have been doing this back in October, or was he not ready until February? Again, it's unanswerable. And for me as a Warrior fan, I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt to Steve Kerr because I think he's done wonderful things with this team.
Grandy brought this up before we even got started today. He reminded me of the last time the Warriors played Portland. They played Portland a bunch of times early in the year. And if my memory serves from our conversation, he said the last time they played Portland was December 6th. And if you remember, the Warriors were playing a sleepy first half, and it was not going well.
That was the first time they played Portland.
Oh, that was the first time?
They played them on the 6th, 17th, and 23rd of December.
Okay.
3 straight, boom, boom, boom.
Which one, and I think it was the first one, was the one where Kuminga came in the second half, played like the final 15 minutes of the game or so, and really sparked them to the victory. Was that the 6th?
Yeah, he played 16-43 in that game.
Yeah.
He went 6 of 6 from the floor. And he had 13. He was a plus 13. The Warriors won that gutsy win by 4 to get to 10 and 11.
And they don't win without him.
Right.
They don't win without him. But the cool thought that he brought up was the idea that imagine now, that's a while ago, it's December 6th. The other way of saying it is, that's only, that's only 3-4 months ago.
Right.
And Jonathan Kuminga was told by Steve Kerr before that game, yeah, sorry, you're not in the rotation tonight. You're not there yet. Like he got the Moody Looney Saric thing 4 months ago. He got you're not in our plans. I don't know if everyone else has the same sort of reaction I do. I think so, where you're like, God, that Jonathan Kuminga, the guy we now know 3-4 months ago was like not in the plans for a lot of nights. And that night was one of the nights that I think really started the angst because he came in and won the game for them. And so that made a lot of people go, see, dude, you got to get him in there. And then for another month or so, Steve kind of waffled still, or pancaked, whichever one you like.
Right.
He kind of went back and forth, and he didn't really commit to Kuminga, leading to the Shams tweet of Jonathan Kuminga has lost faith in Steve Kerr. That brings them to a discussion, and they've worked much better together since then. So, I don't know. It's interesting. It's pretty wild to think about that, and then where that shapes your head for the whole year. Like, think about the journey that was and why they look so different now than they did then. Because, yeah, just 4 months ago, they didn't even want Jonathan to play on some nights.
Yeah.
At all.
Right, and this is a great case study.
And now Draymond Green's like, that's our two. He's our two.
Yeah.
4 months ago, they didn't want him on the floor.
He comes in, they're down 77-66. And think about it.
To the Blazers.
You're 9-11 on the year, and you're playing against Portland at home, and you're down 77-66. Steve Kerr takes time out with 4:45 to go, and in comes Kuminga for Draymond Green. And from that point forward, you went on and you won the game by 4. He was a plus 15. He played every minute the rest of the way. But still, as you mentioned, it wasn't like, okay, I'm sold on you, Kuminga. Go out there and get your 30 minutes a night. It still took some time for Kuminga to earn the trust of Steve Kerr. And that's why many fans have been critical of Steve. And yeah, you could look at that and say maybe Kuminga should have been playing more and should have been playing more often and earlier in the year. But I look at what the team was in totality that night. Wiggins, 3 of 12. Clay, 3 of 13. Steph was 8 of 18 with 4 turnovers. Your top line guys weren't very good.
No.
So you needed Kuminga to come in and save the day.
Well, yeah, and December was, Clay mental journey time.
Right.
He wasn't there yet.
Yeah, for sure. And, you hadn't really found the solution in anybody. And then it wasn't too long after that where Draymond Green was asked to not play basketball anymore. I think it was December 12th against Phoenix when he got ejected for hitting Nurkic.
But that wasn't the which was the one that led to the – was that it? Was that the suspension?
Yeah, the first one was Gobert with the choke.
Right.
And that was early in the year.
And then the Nurkic was when he was like, Draymond, go bye-bye.
Right.
Was that
that
early?
was in Phoenix.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
that was December 12th.
Okay.
So that was 2 nights later.
And he missed a little bit over a month or so, or around a month?
Yeah, more than a dozen games. I think he ended up missing 15. He was cleared to play, and then there was a few games he didn't play to ramp back up.
Right.
But that's where they were, and they lost to Phoenix that night. That was one of their 3 straight losses. They fell to 10-14. So Steve was searching for not only the real Kuminga, please stand up. He was searching for anything at that point.
Anything.
And it was when Draymond got suspended that Kuminga got his opportunity out of necessity more than any other reason, I think.
Yeah, that's an interesting sort of a spot to discuss this a little bit. I mean, I feel like Steve Kerr has caught a lot of strays this year. I really do. And I've made that point this year based on the fact that I don't think that this was an easy year to coach because of a lot of the things that the players started, I don't want to say doing, but Clay had to figure out being okay with himself. Jonathan had to figure out how to play better, be more well-rounded. And then Steve had to figure out how to get him opportunity. And then Wiggins had to, whatever Wiggins is always doing. And all these guys had to figure it out. And you had to usher in a future Hall of Famer into the lineup and figure him out. And then he got hurt. And then you had to bring it back. Here's what I'm getting at. I always view it this way with coaching. If your team is way better at the end of the year than the beginning, that's great coaching. If your team is way better at the beginning than it is at the end, that's bad coaching. Hey, Nick Sirianni, I'm kind of talking to you.
Yeah, boy.
If you're way better at the end, that's good coaching. If you're way better at the beginning, that's bad coaching. So this to me...
Putting health aside, of course.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
this year, despite all the strays and the opinions we've heard, now that we've arrived at today, I think Steve Kerr has done a damn good job. I really do.
Steiny gave him an A-.
They're way better right now than they were at the beginning, and that's coaching. Like things have
they're
evolved.
healthier.
Yeah, well, sure, of course.
But even putting aside health, the only guy who is not in a better spot now than he was at the start of the year is Dario Saric.
Yeah.
And you could add in Kevon Looney, I think.
Yeah, and maybe, I guess, a little bit of Moody. He's all over the place. But yeah.
I think Moody's exactly the player that they thought he was in the start of the year. Now, is he not getting as much opportunity as he should? That's a question for next year, depending on if he's still here or not. And that's an ongoing thing. You don't have minutes for everybody, Steve will tell you. But the thing about Kuminga, his first 22 games that he played, when he was coming off the bench, he averaged 11.9 in 20 and a half minutes a game. Clearly, he was not used as much as he could have been used, and he wasn't producing when he was used. Draymond gets suspended. He goes into the starting lineup, and boom, minutes go up, production goes up, confidence goes up, and all the rest of it. So would he have been better earlier had he been given more of an opportunity? Perhaps, but Steve Kerr is always going to default to the veterans, and so those minutes were going to Wiggins and Draymond, and when Draymond had to go bye-bye, then Kuminga got to start, and Kuminga took off.
888-957-9570. Hey, Lucas, is this Junior or JR? Is it Junior or JR?
Junior.
Okay, all right.
Junior.
Hey, Junior in Pacifica. Hey, Junior, what's up?
Hey, I am going to quote the late, great Bruce Willis at this point. One of his best lines, wah, wah, call the ambulance, okay? Because if Steve Kerr did not lean heavily on his veterans, we would have to give back that parade from 2 years ago. That championship was like a bunch of master criminals cracking the toughest bank safe in the world that they brought home trophy with the talent and so on that they had and some of the other teams had. It was amazing, and they got it by leaning on the old heads. Now, I can agree that maybe the thermostat should have been set a little bit more to youth, after that, but the heck, we aren't giving that championship back. We aren't giving the development this year back. The other point I just want to make is that Kuminga took a hand in his own development with that play me or trade me kind of stuff, artfully played through his team rather than through himself.
Yep.
But I think it's been exciting and fun and maybe a couple things I would tweak, but then you might lose some of the great things that you got.
Hey, Junior, before you go, you should first apologize to Bruce Willis.
Yeah, still with us. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, my apologies.
Okay,
I had to stop out.
Now, and then other than that, yeah, you make, I think, a really strong point. Thank you for the call, Junior. And this is one of the things I've been getting at. At least admit that this is a hell of a needle to thread, if you will, to look at Steve Kerr and go, you need to develop the young guys and you need to give them a big shot, but also we're going for a title. Now, I know what a lot of people say about that. Oh, come on, man. We're not actually title contenders. You don't get to do that at the beginning of the season. That game we're talking about, you said was the 21st game of the year.
Right.
21st game of the year.
You were 9-11.
You were 9-11, but you've got Curry and Clay and Draymond and Chris Paul joined the team, and you were
Wiggins.
And at that moment you were 14 months removed from a parade. Okay?
Yep.
That's where you were. And for some reason, people will go, come on, just give up. Just develop them. That's not right. You don't do it that way. And even if it would have been good to get Jonathan in 10 games earlier, 12 games earlier, whatever, I could acknowledge that. I think Steve could acknowledge that. If you could acknowledge that it's not that easy to know exactly when to do it, because those two things we have learned better than any franchise in America. Those two things do not happen at the same time. Take it next time anyone ever says two timelines, just crumple that up and throw it in the trash. You cannot win a title while also developing 3 or 4 young players with key minutes at the same time. You can't do that in the NBA. It doesn't work.
Very difficult. And I think about if these 2 rookies this year were on the championship team 2 years ago, how would they be developing in that same construct that they had? They probably wouldn't be developing as fast, but I think that they'd be more of contributors than Moody, Kuminga, and Wiseman were. Wiseman was hurt all year. Kuminga was mostly a garbage time guy, and Moody didn't play either. But I think Pods, the Poughkeepsie kid, as we like to call him, I think he's more ready to contribute, and certainly TJD is as a 24-year-old rookie. So not all rookies are developed in the same way. I think these 2 would have been able to develop more in that championship team than the, Jonathan Kuminga, very raw as an 18-year-old, and Moody at 19, and Wiseman, heck, he got hurt before the year even started, and he missed the whole season.
Bruce Willis just seen 2 days ago in the passenger seat of a vehicle in Sherman Oaks, California.
Really sad story.
It is. He's been diagnosed with dementia.
It's beyond dementia. What he has is it's a dementia-related illness, but man, just so sad to see how quickly he's fallen into ill health.
Yeah, 69 years old, but very much still with us.
It's good correction.
Yeah, thanks.
Appreciate that. Just one more piece about Kuminga and the development before we go back to the phones.
No, go for it.
Opening 18 games, he's coming off the bench.
Yeah.
He shot 45% from the floor, 24% from 3.
Oof.
11.3 a night, 3 rebounds.
How many minutes?
20 minutes.
Okay, that's tough.
20 minutes. He's shooting it 9 times.
Yep.
He was shooting too many threes. He wasn't rebounding. His defense was very suspect. So, and that was the reason why his development was slow played, because he was not playing winning basketball.
Maybe we slant too far in the other direction. I get it.
We do. Yeah. Steve's a friend of the program.
Well, but I don't mean just for Steve.
Right.
This goes for Shanahan. This, goes for the Giants organization, and the fact that they won't call up Luciano and Free-Matos. I just think if you're awesome in professional sports, you get on the field.
Right.
If you're amazing behind the scenes, if you're doing all the right things, you have the perfect attitude, and you kick butt, and you are more talented than the next person, they let you in. They let you in. They're not sitting there being like, I think he's the best option for us, but hasn't had his 24th birthday yet.
Yeah,
so
can't blame him.
that's a no from me, dog.
Right.
I just don't think they do that.